August 5th, 2022, Calvin Castine at the Rainbow Wedding and Banquet Facility. We're in the White Room this evening for the 46th, I think it's 46th, yes, 46th annual Woodmen of the World, and now called Woodmen Life, but Woodmen of the World Honor Awards Night. It would have been our 48th, except that we had 2 years with COVID. So these are some of the things that will be handed out here. A flag is going to be to the Morris Fire Department. We're honoring the Morris Volunteer Fire Department this year. We got scholarship winners here, Ty Vassar and Caleb Trombley. We got American History Awards. We presented to, looks like 7 of those. The Caring for Others Awards, Sam Castine and his wife Carol each be getting one. Dr. Morris Racine with the Leadership Award, what we used to call our Citizen of the Year Award. George Brendler for the Working with Youth Award. And the Spirit Award, which is a lodge or chapter award for who's working the hardest at the present time within the chapter or the lodge. So that's the awards that will be presented tonight. Tim Gagno will be the host. Dave Blix is the president of the chapter this year. People are starting to gather here. It's still about 8 minutes before 5. Cocktail hour is supposed to start at 5, but there's a few early arrivals here, and we're expecting a nice crowd here in Altona on this Friday night, August 5th, 2022. Well, it's after 5:30 now, and more people are showing up. As I may have mentioned earlier, Sam Castine and his wife Carol are unaware that they are being awarded this evening, and thought I'd put the camera on when they were going to be announced. Not when they'll be announced, but when they open up the program and take a look. When we first started doing these award programs, we would surprise the recipients. Dr. Southwick was supposed to be at that first one to give a little talk, as was Peter LaFontaine, and we announced their awards. And the next year we surprised, I know Felix Misek, I'm not sure who else might have been surprised at that point. So we're trying to get Sam Castine and Carol Castine to look in the program. Brother Guy is looking at the program, trying to get them. Sam and Carol have stumbled across 6 of their dearest friends here, and they haven't got a clue yet as to why they just happen to be sitting there next to them. He hasn't got his glasses on, so we're not sure. So we were able to surprise them, and one of their daughters will be here all the way up from the Albany area with her husband. The other 2 were unable to make it tonight. And now they have their daughter Liz and her husband Tom up from the Albany area.
Annual Woodmen Chapter 462 Awards Banquet. We missed a couple of years, but we're back to celebrate our members and honor those deserving in our community. I'm Tim Gagnon, and I'll be your host this evening. First, I'd like to call on the chapter's president, David Blipp, for the pledge and an invocation.
Okay, we can all stand, please.
United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Since our last banquet, we lost a valuable member of our organization, Woodmen Banquet, from the office of secretary passed July 2021. He held the office of president, vice president. He was also pastor, additional president, and national delegate. Linda was the driving force in our chapter. We missed. Please take a moment to silence, honor our fallen sister. Bow our heads. Heavenly Father, we thank you for all you've done for us in the past, getting us together this lovely evening of devotion, awards to our fellow citizens. Again, we do thank you for all you have done for us. We ask this in your name. Amen.
Enjoy your dinner, and they'll be coming around to tell you when to go up, and we will get started. I'll see you after that. Good. Okay. A generation which ignores history has no past and no future. Robert Heinlein. Calvin Castine will now introduce the current officers and tell us about the history of Chapter 462.
Thank you, Tim. And look at your program and when you designed those programs, it's still right here. So if you need any program designing, just give Tim a call. I'm supposed to mention the current officers. I think most of them are here, but not all, unfortunately. President David Blipp. Vice President Secretary Ella Blipp. I don't think any of our auditors are here, trustees, Steve Walter, Leland Walter, or Philip Bell, which will be here tonight. And before I forget to mention it, I'm supposed to mention it after the history, and I'll walk down here and forget it, so I'll mention it now. An upcoming event for our members, October 16th, Country Beans Farm, 260 Pelham Road, 11 and 2. Pelham Road in Deacontown Platform area, October 16th, 2022, obviously. Members can go and they choose to navigate the corn maze or choose the pumpkin courtesy of the chapter. So all you members who are here, put down the 16th of October for the Country Beans Farm and run through the corn maze. History of chapter 462. This is our 46th banquet, I believe. I'm going to spend about 4 minutes on each of the 46 years, so I hope you're all comfortable. And as far as the life insurance, don't worry about anybody here trying to tell you life insurance was 3 years ago, was it? 3 years. 3 years ago, the Woodmen decided they were not going to sell life insurance in New York State anymore, but they're still very much a fraternal order here. Woodmen was founded in 1890 in Omaha, Nebraska, and I first heard about it in January of 1975. And you never know, you can make one turn or you make a different turn. I was thinking of this summer, I was coming back from a meeting in Beatontown Hall, and I decided which road I was going to take back. And I took the Ashley Road back, and the last ran out in front of me, and I hit it. If I had taken Route 22 back, I would still be here. So, small decisions we make, you never know what kind of impacts that they're going to have. On 75, I was laid off from Harris Graphics during my anniversary in Champlain in early January of 75. And Gary Duperry was the head of several departments. Said, well, some of the people are going to go to Walmart after and see us after. So I said, well, I probably won't see a lot of these people again, so I'll go. So I went there, and a guy named Rod Barlow from Burlington was there. He was the head of all the machine shops, and the head of all the foremen. And he mentioned that he was going to go to work for Woodmen of the World. He was going to go part-time, but now they've been terminated. He was going to go full-time. That's the first time I heard of the Woodmen of the World. I found out it's a family fraternity, so if you're making something like the Knights of Columbus, you're probably all familiar with it. It's a Catholic men's only organization. Woodmen was something that the whole family could belong to, the whole community could belong to. So that got me kind of excited. And we made assurance available to our members that they needed. Dwayne was the guy who hired me. He's out of Albert, Vermont. I think he was hired by a guy named Dick McChesney. But if I hadn't talked to Gary Woodward at work before leaving, and I hadn't got there early to talk to Rod Barlow, we would not be standing here tonight. It's just one of those things that take that road and these things happen. Our first awards banquet was in June of 1975. In fact, Judy reminded me we were at the same time as we did back in 1975. Dr. John Southwick was our first Citizen of the Year, and Peter LaFontaine was the person that we honored for Conservationist of the Year. We managed to survive both. It was done by the field force. It was not done by our lodge members because we needed to get out there and recruit them. In October 75, we had our first organizational meeting with people like Ed Stromley, George Cookman, Patty Hicks, Allison Blank, Father Jerry Blow, and Howard Reed were among our first officers. Soon after that, Brother Sam jumped on board, Jim Robbins, DeWalt Tappan, Adrian Dutail, Shelley Willett, Sir House. These are some of the names that jumped on early and helped make our lodge what it is. And there have been many names since then, and just too many for me to go through. I resigned as the area manager in '86 and decided to devote my efforts to starting Hometown Cable, but I did stay active. Linda Daniel, who David mentioned earlier, was a field rep that I hired, and she left to go to work for the U.S. border, and I was studying income. Thankfully, she remained very active as a member of our lodge. I tried to recruit Dale Daniel, but he wasn't interested at the time. I think it may have been Ray Gillis who finally convinced him to go to work for the Woodmen. When Dale became the area manager, the lodge started to grow again. And after a while, he brought on his cousin, Linda's brother, Tim Daniel. And looking back at our first awards banquet, having been in '75, this would have been our 48th banquet. But with COVID, we missed 2 years, so it's our 46th. I won't list all the recipients that we've honored in that 47-year period, but I will mention the second one. I mentioned Dr. Southwick. Felix Misek. Remember Dr. Southwick telling me that he was so proud to see that we weren't just looking at people who were well-known and were really highlighted in the community, but we were looking at people who weren't afraid to get their hands dirty, working behind the scenes, and that was Felix Misek. So Dr. Southwick was very proud of the person who got the award after him. And we tried to repeat that philosophy and continue it over the years. I know Dr. John has been wholeheartedly approved of this year's award recipients. So So it's ironic that the year we lose Dr. Chocolate, that we're among our recipients is Dr. Morris Senior. And as you look around the room and multiply this by 46 banquets, you can see why members of our lodge are so proud of what Woodmen has done since the 75. We hope to continue into the future. That's it.
We remember those who were called upon to give all a person can give. And we remember those who were prepared to make that sacrifice if it were demanded of them in the line of duty. So it never was. Most of all, we remember the devotion and the gallantry with which all of them ennobled their nation as they became champions of a noble cause. Rock great. Honor flights serve those who have served with a trip to remember. The nonprofit program Honor Flight gives veterans the opportunity to fly to Washington, D.C. to see the memorials dedicated to the wars in which they served. The North Country Honor Flight offers a wonderful day for veterans to see their memorials and receive the respect they deserve. I've been on one, and they are truly humbling. With the current inflation going on in the country, the cost of getting these heroes on their flights has risen. And with COVID, they lost 2 years and they're trying to catch up. So Honor Flight has reached out to previous donors for help, and Chapter 462 answers that call tonight with a $2,000 donation. Barry Finnegan, Director of the North Country Honor Flight, is here with us tonight. Barry, come on up. David?
Mary, it's a great honor and a privilege to present this check, $2,000, North Country Honor.
Just like to thank everybody involved. That this means so much, and you know, especially at this time. Like Tim said, you know, coming off of COVID, things were tough. We lost a year and a half of flying, and then we're still trying to get everybody off the waiting list and get them down there. And it's a very tough decision because we've got so many people that are now into their 90s, and some are very sick, and that's the part that's hard to figure out. We've got a lot of sick veterans that need to get down there, so waiting is not an option. We'd love to find another alternative to get our flights a little bit cheaper. There is none. Right now, we've got two choices, either pay the price or don't go, and don't go is not an option. So, like I say, to thank you guys for coming through with this at this time is exceptionally special, and I'd like to also thank you for everything in the past. If everybody here could see that flag that's been donated by Woodmen Life, given to a veteran who's been on that trip to Washington, and that flag was flown in his honor over the Pentagon, brought back home and given to that veteran, you'd understand why that program is so important. So for those flags and this donation, Honor Flight can't thank you enough. Good night.
When a man becomes a fireman, his greatest act of bravery has been accomplished. What he does after that is all in the line of work, Edward's program. Ella Blix will now present our fire department recognition award.
Each year, Woodmen Chapter 462 honors a local fire department for their bravery and services to the community. Tonight's recipients, the Morris Volunteer Fire Department, along with their auxiliary, have been serving their community since 1948, 75 years. Though a small community, Morris Force has kept the department busy this year with over 65 calls from the middle of July. riding parade on the first weekend in December. He also does career day at various schools and during the last week of school at the Moore's Elementary Field Day. Their trucks are there for the children to enjoy. The fire department is presently awaiting the arrival of a new fire truck. Todd told me that he has a motto, and I think it speaks for itself. Without the community behind them, they wouldn't be where they are today. I am proud to present a certificate of appreciation and flag to the Moore's Volunteer Fire Department. Woodmen Life presents with pleasure the certificate of recognition to the Moore's Volunteer Fire Department in recognition of faithful service, August 5th, 2022. Woodmen Life.
Woodmen Life has for many years sought through its local chapters to foster a patriotic attitude and a profound appreciation for the miracle that is America. Awards are presented each year in schools across the nation to the students selected as being the most proficient in the study of American history. This year's local recipients are from Northeastern Clinton, Rachel Paterno and Caden Guerin. Come on up and we'll line you up right here. From Northern Adirondack, Dallas Nisek, Samantha Hart, and Everett Kent. And from J.C. Central School, Georgia Belrose and Griffin DeRocher. Congratulations to all.
Great job.
Since the Woodmen Life Focus Forward Scholarship Program started in 2017, nearly 4,000 scholarships worth almost $2.4 million have been awarded. Scholarship recipients must be high school graduates attending a 2-year or 4-year college, university, or technical school, and Woodmen Life members in good standing with at least 3 years of membership. Perfect grades and good test scores aren't required. Scholarship recipients will complete an online application that includes a short essay question, and scholarships will be awarded to those students who make a difference in their community through volunteerism, want to make their community a better place to live, want to pursue a career as a leader in their community, and demonstrate their academic performance by providing their transcripts to GPA. This year, $500 scholarships went to Caleb Trombley and Ty Vassar. both very deserving, and when you look at the criteria, these boys both do it very, very well.
Gail?
Congratulations to you both.
The highest political buzzword is not liberty, equality, fraternity, or solidarity. It is service. Arthur Clark. Selecting the winner of the Fraternal Spirit Award is not something that's taken lightly. Each year in Woodmen Chapter is the member who made the greatest contribution towards supporting and advancing the chapter and our organization during the previous calendar years chosen. So what is fraternal spirit? It's the leadership of the chapter, certainly. But not only that, it's an ever-present attitude of helpfulness, faithfulness, and dependability. It's consistently putting others before self. It's an open heart, a soothing voice, and a hard-working hand. The award is a small way of saying thank you to the person judged who have truly exemplified fraternal spirit last year. Chapter 462 has selected someone who is truly deserving of that honor. He was there when we needed him through some difficult times at the lodge hall, when snow falling on the fuel tank had caused a spill. And sure helped guide us through the cleanup process, and we can happily say that all is now well, it's cleaned up, it's done. It is with great pleasure and gratitude that we present the 2022 Fraternal Spirit Award for faithful service in the chapter to our fellow members and to all, to our good friend Sheriff House. Congratulations, Sheriff.
Congratulations. You're a better person. Thank you, sir.
Sorry about that. Shaking my nerves up here. But I want to say thank you to my women family, all the guests, my family, and other dignitaries, especially the women people put this event on. It's a great event. It's been a long time waiting, 2 years, held up by the process of Woodmen changing their procedures and not being what we used to have on the life insurance side. But the fraternal side is still here. And it's strong, it's vibrant, and there's a lot of things that we do that both Timmy and Dave have mentioned. And I apologize, I'm not a good public speaker. You can see there's one page with nothing on the back. That means I'm not going to be up there very long. The fraternal side of Woodmen still does a lot of things. And just a few of those things that we really pride ourselves in is supporting our youth with many local activities. Camp programs, scholarships, or just a little bit of that. We saw some of the scholarships going on. We support not only women folks, but people who are sick. They don't have to be women. Maybe invalids needing ambulatory care. And we try to get them wheelchairs, crutches, whatever. will make them more comfortable. Flag presentations as well as flag poles in our homeborn. And I say homeborn because we honor the honor flags that go on in this community, which is absolutely great. These are just a few things we do. And now I just want to say thank you. And I think we should get everybody here a round of applause, including the people that provided your meal tonight. Brandon and Beck do just an absolutely great job. I don't know if I took anything away from that, Tim. I got one little story I want to tell. Since I see a number of the audience here, Morrissey, we go back a long ways. And back in my duck hunt days, Mo stopped in the marina one day. This will be a quick story. Mo stopped in the marina one day and said, hey, geez, sure, if you're ever going out, you need somebody to go, I'll go with you. So I said, oh, okay, well, I don't know what it was, but we made the arrangements. We used to stop in and enjoy the spirit around the marina once in a while. And so Mo and I made a date. And Mo came down to the marina. I showed up. Geez, didn't I forget my keys? So here I am, fooling around with a credit card, trying to get into my own business. Working away like that. Mo's gone. So I keep working on it. Next thing I see is Mo's face in the window. On the inside of the marina. I'm going, what is going on? The unlocked store. He says, there, we got in. I said, how did you get in, Mo? He said, through the back door. I said, oh, it was open. He said, it is now. That door has a bar, two things of a wooden bar that went across it. And Mo backed up to the road. And, well, what is worse, he came, busted that door right now. We went up on that morning. And just to tell you, we got one more surprise Mo gave me. We got out there and I said, Mo, you forgot your gun. He said, no, I didn't. I didn't intend on bringing a gun. He said, I got a camera right here. I said, oh, you didn't bring a gun? You're not going out to stone. He said, I'm going to take pictures. And he did. He took a lot of pictures that day, really nice ones. And many, a couple of them that I thought at home, they're framed still to this day. So, thanks for the memories, Mo.
Don't let him fool you. He used to be right here in this spot running this thing. And while I'm thinking of it, there are still 50-50 raffle tickets if anybody wants one. See, right over here. We cannot live only for ourselves. 1,000 fibers connect us with our fellow men. And among those fibers, as sympathetic threads, our actions run as causes, and they come back to us as effects. Herman Melville. We all know actions speak louder than words. It's nice to hear when someone says, I care about you. But it's even more meaningful when a kind gesture comes along with those words. When our actions are aligned with our words, when we live with integrity, our lives become a powerful, positive force in the world. Our relationships are deeper, our work becomes more passionate, and we are an inspiration to others. We may not be famous, we may not have riches, we may not even be on the front page of our hometown newspaper, but we've made a difference to those around us, to those closest to us, and strangers who we never meet. Our Caring for Others award recipients this year are Sam and Pharaoh Castine. They have been together since Pharaoh first wandered into the Castine yard over 60 years ago, allegedly to see the dog that was barking at her as she walked by. 4 years later, they were wed and have been happily married for 57 years. One or both of them have worked in some capacity at every St. Mary's Bazaar since the first one back in 1968. They were both active in leadership roles for St. Mary's Academy when their children were in school. Sam served several years as a committeeman on the former Northern Tier Chamber of Commerce, chairing several committees, and was on the Champlain Agway Board of Directors. He has served on the St. Mary's Parish Council and is presently serving on the board of the Champlain Moores EMS Corporation. For more than a couple of decades, he donated countless hours to recording videos of community events for Hometown Cable. He has been delivering meals to the elderly in all kinds of weather for over 16 years. Yes, he is paid that small amount for this, but when the humidity makes it feel like it's 100+ degrees, or there are torrential downpours, or the wind chill factor is 20 below zero, days when we all dread just getting in and out of our vehicles even one time, he is there, delivering meals to 24 or so waiting shut-in seniors. Most days, Carol is right there beside him, serving as volunteer and getting just as frozen or rain-soaked as him. She also has many days when she's working in the kitchen, helping prepare the senior meals for delivery. Over the years, Carol has had various leadership roles with the St. Mary's Catholic Daughters and is currently serving on the board of the Northern Tier Senior Housing. Carol is a lector at St. Mary's Church, and Sam was a longtime pusher. In 1975, there were 3 young sisters who would probably have been separated, but Sam and Carol took them into their home as foster children, and a year later, they adopted them and made them part of their family. Some people talk the talk. Sam and Carol have walked the walk. We are proud to present Sam and Carol Castine, our Caring for Others Award.
Thank everybody for coming tonight. It's an enjoyable job. There are some hot days, some cold days. We keep right at it.
We're just ordinary people doing things for extraordinary people that are in need. We believe in this program, otherwise we wouldn't still be doing it. As we get older, we just wanted to make sure that we kept as active as what a lot of you people do as well, is to, we didn't want to just sit in the rocking chair. Not sooner or later we'll be there, but for now, this is the way we do it, and we look forward to it. I must say, there were a lot of people that were in on this, but I couldn't believe you guys could keep a secret. I was shocked. I could not. You guys pulled it off. We are so appreciative. We thank you for what you've done. We believe in Woodmen as well, and we continue to hope you have continued good life and success in what you do for other people. That's for sure. So, thank you.
Great changes in the destiny of mankind can be effected only in the midst of little children. Sir Herbert Reed. Woodmen life is committed to family, community, and country. The youth of this country are key to carrying on the work we do to improve local communities and to continue to pass down these values. We also focus on putting our words into action and honoring those who are always willing to jump in to help. With the Contribution to Youth Award, we recognize those who make exceptional contributions to the betterment and development of the young people in local communities. George Brendler is one such man. To tell you more about it, I'd like to introduce Shaky Central Rural School Principal, Rob McCullough.
Thank you. Congratulations to all the recipients. That's a wonderful program, great people. I want to thank Calvin for asking me to speak today. Before I go on with some of the great things that George Brandler has done for the children of Shazy, I just heard this story about, not that long ago actually. A friend of mine, Brian Norcross, and his wife, Heather Norcross, bought a house across from George Brandler's. They live on North Farm Road. And they bought it back late 90s, 99, and they moved in, and they knew George lived across the street, and Heather Norcross, Brian Norcross's wife, were walking around the house, and it was a summer day, and Heather looked out the window and said, "What is this I see across the street?" And saw this handsome, strong, tan guy mowing the lawn. And Heather said, "Geez, this is a nice perk to the new house we have here, that George obviously has went and hired some young, handsome guy to mow the lawn for him." So Brian comes over and says, "Heather, what are you looking at?" "Well, George hired some handsome young guy to mow the lawn." Brian looks at Heather and says, "That's George Brandler. He's 65 years old." A lot of people don't know George is very much a physical fitness guy. So Heather was a little disappointed. Brian was a little nervous that his wife was attracted to a 65-year-old across the street, but it all worked out. George Brandler, when most people think of George Brandler, they think of Shazy soccer and vice versa. Not getting into George's history, because there's a book you can read of his background, but coming here from Hungary to didn't really can speak English, and came to the United States and moved to the White Plains and found a way into the military and all his way to Vermont and graduated from Springfield College and finally to Shazy. And to most people from the outside, because the outside don't know him well, they hear his name and they think George Brandler Field and Shazy. They may think of all the years 1965 to 1988 coaching boys soccer, and they think of all the championship teams and great players he had, or the fact he was the first boys state Hall of Fame, boys soccer Hall of Fame inductee ever. Or just spreading the sports and building the sport across Shazy and across the North Country and in the state in many ways. But for me, growing up in Shazy and playing for him, I certainly have a different view of that man. To me, as a little boy, I couldn't wait to play soccer for George Brandler. I couldn't wait. I kind of counted down the years until I could play soccer for him. And I thought about all the wins and the losses, how exciting it was going to be. And I remember one time when I was young, not playing for him yet, and I saw his team lose and the season ended. And I saw his players go up to him. It was a defining moment to me. I saw his players go up to him and were crying and said, "I'm sorry, coach." I remember as a kid, I was like 6th or 7th grade, I didn't understand why they apologizing to their coach. I saw a banquet like this where the kids came up on stage and spoke about him and got teary-eyed. And I didn't really thought that was weird. I thought when they won a championship, they actually put George on their shoulders. No offense, George, it didn't take a whole lot, a couple guys maybe, to get him on their shoulders. And I remember thinking, why aren't they celebrating the guys who scored the goals? I was a kid, I didn't know. And then I became one of his players. And when I first started with him, it was like a big wave that hit. Because I couldn't believe, the kind of person he was. The discipline. By the way, when I'm reading these things off, I was on my way here, and obviously I work in school, and I think of all these things I'm about to read, and I think of how nice it would be for kids today to have someone like him. When I started thinking about what he taught me, work ethic, discipline, resiliency when things get tough, giving back to people, the team being first, you care for each other, you're kind to one another. And I think about how fortunate I am that I got to be around him, and how unfortunate it is that more kids don't get to be around people like George Brandler. And when I played for him, I realized all we all wanted to do was please him. We wanted to win for him. I remember on one game, I sat on the ground at halftime at the old MAI field. People know what I'm talking about. It was a cold, I remember seeing my breath, and we were behind. And I remember him talking at halftime, and like a switch, I said, I know why those kids before me were crying, because they wanted to please him. Right? That they meant that much he meant that much to them, and he meant that much to me then too. As time went on, obviously, I moved on. I became the soccer coach myself at Shaisley. A few years, about 8 years after he retired. And I think, now that I'm an adult, when I look back at those years, I think how fortunate I was to have someone like George who taught me all those things and taught me how to be a good person. And at the time, you know what I thought about? I thought about winning games. I thought about championships. I thought of those things because I was a kid. And now I look back and I think we also have to mention too how many good people like George we've lost. I was thinking of this for so many of you, Frank Lucas, right? And how much he gave to other kids in his community, Gary Ryan and Brian Powers, those people who gave so much to children. And I think the best thing I can say about George is that everyone who comes home to Shaisley, who played for him, they all want to go see him. Right? They all want to, when they come home, they all say to me, how's Coach doing? It's even funny for me to call him George. And they all want to go see him. They all want to see how he's doing. And I think because we all now have a better understanding of what's really important in life. And especially, I'm not trying to talk about COVID here, but I think in these last few years, we've all had to take a step back and realize what's really important in life. And I think in Shaisley, there's banners up that have championships on it that George can look to and say, I was a part of that team. But there's so much more he gave to the children of Shaisley. My wife jokes that I still listen to him to this day. It wasn't that long ago that same Brian Norcross were out on his lawn, and Brian had just got done mowing the lawn, and George came over and said, I see the two of you, he walks by my lawn, I see the two of you always mow your lawn in the same pattern. I said, yeah. He said, you really should cut it the other way so you don't get ruts. So I went home and told my wife, I said, do you believe George, at like 7 years old, is still telling me what to do? How crazy is that? So sure enough, a couple days later, I took my mower out, I stood at the top of my driveway, and dropped my lawn. Yeah, I better cut across this. And my wife looks out and said, you cut that lawn because George told you, didn't you? No. What made me feel good is that Brian Norcross's wife called like 2 days later and said that Brian Norcross did the same thing with his lawn. But I think what George did in all these years at Shaisley is that he built good people. Everyone talks about the championships and the teams, but he built really, really good people. And he made all of us better people and better fathers and sons and husbands. And I think we're all just appreciative. That's why when all these people come home to Shaisley, they want to come see him. So I think they want to show him how proud they are of their own family and that how thankful they are to him. And so I will say, George, from all of your former players and from the community that you gave so much to, we just want to thank you for all the years you gave us and how appreciative we are. And there's not many people I know who are more deserving than you, George, of this award. So I thank you.
Calvin said I only half hour to talk, so I can't say. Here you go. Thank you, Woodmen, for this recognition and award. It really hits home because after having been retired for 32 years, I've been retired more than I worked. But what we did, what the community did, the kids did with me, and despite me, there were successes, and above all, I must say, they continued more so because of the young fellow we just talked, Rob, the golf. And it's rather emotional to have heard all this, because I gotta say that, how do I put this? We had a class day every year at school, and the kids like to make a joke or fun about the teachers. So one day, they asked me about something to stand up, and I was, oh, you're already standing. I was sitting. The other thing too is that people expect, having heard what Fraternal did, to some unusually special person. One parent that I happened to meet that had just moved into the community had come to Stewart's and asked about the soccer coach. And she said, you're here. I'm like, I'm only 5'2". You don't have to be big to be successful. But, you know, how this happens to us, that people build us up to more than we are. And the image has grown thanks to Larry Hooley and Robbie and the community members, the students that I have. And I thank them all, but I'm still 5'2".
It's always nice to stand next to somebody who's shorter than I am. Each time a man stands up for an ideal, or acts to improve the lot of others, or strikes out against injustice, he sends forth a tiny ripple of hope, and crossing each other from a million different centers of energy and daring, those ripples build a current that can sweep down the mightiest walls of oppression and resistance. Robert Kennedy. Since 1952, Woodmen Chapters have been privileged through our Fraternal program to express gratitude to outstanding citizens of the community. Those who have gone the extra mile in civic service and community betterment. Through the presentation of our Community Leadership Citizen of the Year Award. Only those who are truly qualified are chosen as recipients of this award. This year, Chapter 462 is elected to honor someone who has worked tirelessly for the improvement of this community, Dr. Maurice Racine. To tell you more, I'd like to introduce Celine Paquette, a former Citizen of the Year of our organization as well.
Thank you, Tim. It's a pleasure to be here tonight to honor someone that deserves our grateful thanks for his dedicated service to our community for over 40 years. As most of you know, I am Dr. Racine's cousin, older cousin, much older. I remember when Dr. Racine was born. I even attended his parents' wedding. So I'm telling you all this to let you know that there is a lot I can tell you tonight. But don't worry, you won't. I promise I'll be good. I will begin by giving you a very short biographical sketch of this man. First of all, he is a native of Champlain, graduating from Northeastern Clinton Central School. During his growing up years, he lived very close to my parents' dairy farm. I have 4 younger brothers, and Mo has 2 brothers. I promise to be good, so I won't go into details. Now just picture this: 7 boys, full of energy, and all daredevils. Grandpa lived between the 2 houses. All I will say is that Grandpa and Grandma Racine are in heaven. There is no doubt in my mind they deserve it. Let's just say that his childhood enthusiasm as a young boy made him the fearless, successful physician he is today. But on the serious side, when Mo graduated from Northeastern Clinton, he attended Plattsburgh State and obtained his degree in biology and chemistry in 3 years. He then entered upstate medical school in Syracuse, where he obtained his medical degree. Following his family practice residency and obtaining a certification in family medicine, he returned to Champlain to join Dr. Southwick and Dr. Starr at the North Country Medical Group. And remember, a lot of you will remember this. After 30 years of building a respectable practice and partnership, and experiencing the retirement of his 2 colleagues, he realized he needed a new model of medical care in Champlain. He realized that when he retired, our area would be left without any primary care. He began exploring possible options, and I remember very well how hard he worked. We had several conversations. He talked to town officials, he talked to other physicians, he contacted a lot of people. He did not want to leave his community without some health care. He cared deeply that we would continue. Fortunately, he met Dr. John Ruddy, who was the founder and CEO of Hudson Headwaters Health Network. Hudson Headwaters' location is in Queensbury, Glens Falls, and they had about 17 centers at the time, and they provided health care in the Adirondacks. Both of them had a mutual mission of providing health care in rural areas. Hudson Headwaters was not in Clinton County, but fortunately, Mo's relationship with Dr. Ruddy evolved, and a merger was secured in 2012, 10 years ago. The first in Clinton County. This is all due to Mo's efforts. I've often told Dr. Ruddy that he was a gambler to take a chance on Champlain, and all the new relationships that he had to develop with our local health department, UVM, and other physicians. So our dream of a new healthcare facility in Champlain became a reality in 2017. Many of you are familiar with our healthcare, which is now Champlain Family Health. We are so fortunate to have this. He deserves the entire credit of bringing Hudson Headwaters Health Network to our area. We would not have this wonderful facility with all our numerous healthcare providers if he had not been so caring and taken the initiative to talk with Dr. Ruddy and convince him of our potential in this area. Thank you on behalf of our grateful community. During his 40 years of service, he has treated his patients in a very genuine and kind manner. Those of you who know him know that he tells it as it is. He judges no one and treats everyone the same. He is an amazing doctor who trusts his gut feelings and investigates until he figures it out. I can only imagine the number of fish hooks you have taken out of fingers and lips. Have you taken track of this at all? The number of sutures you have done in all hours of the day and night. The number of people who need comforting when faced with challenges. And I'm aware of your excellent diagnostic skills that you honed over a period of 40 years. On a personal note, I'd like to take this opportunity to publicly thank you for the care you gave my husband in the last year of his life, and your thoughtfulness towards me. We appreciated the honesty and telling it as it is. My remarks this evening would not be complete without adding a note of appreciation to Dr. Racine's parents. My I knew Uncle Morris and Aunt Lucille very well. They were kind and very industrious people who raised 5 successful children. Both were community-minded, church-going, neighborly people who contributed greatly to their church and to our community. It's no surprise that they raised a successful, caring son who has served his community for many years. Uncle Morris and Aunt Lucille, your mom and dad, are smiling down on you tonight with so much pride. Morris, you have given 110% to your community, your patients, your large Racine family, and your staff. Some are here tonight. On behalf of a grateful community, thank you for everything. Thank you for being you. Now is your time to enjoy the Grandpa Party Pontoon, your 4 great kids, your 3 grandchildren, who none of them could be here with us tonight, and your Caribbean home with your lovely wife, Laverne. You will always have a reputation as an aggressive hockey player, a lifelong Montreal Canadiens fan, a mountain climber, and an avid skier. Thank you again from a grateful community.
As always, on a personal note, I want to thank Dave for the moment of silence for my sister, Linda Gagnon-Horn, who would have loved to have been here, and she was a driving force for sure with this chapter. And throughout the community. One quick note that I wanted to let you all know is Linda's family. Linda was an avid art fan. She was connoisseur, so to speak, and she was the one of the better bidders at the Mountain Lake PBS auction. And we have a collection that was donated by her family to the Moore Street Library. And on Friday, the 12th of August at 6 o'clock, her son will be here, and we will be dedicating an art installation at the library in Linda's name. So if anyone can make it, it's a beautiful, beautiful bunch of art, and it's a testament to her generosity and to how she felt about the community and how she felt about education. So again, thank you all for a wonderful night, and glad you enjoyed it. I hope you enjoyed it. Thank you.